Hello. Now we will discuss another section, that is lurking, house trespass, and housebreaking. This also comes under offenses against property. Lurking house trespass is given in section 330 clause 1 and housebreaking is dealt in section 330 clause 2 of BNS. Lurking house trespass. Whoever commits house trespass means the person committing trespass has already committed the house trespass, having taken precautions to conceal such house trespass from some person who has a right to exclude or eject the trespasser from the building, tent, or vessel which is the subject of the trespass. So, subject of trespass, they are building, tent, or vessel, is said to commit lurking house trespass. Lurking simply means this to hide, something to hide, or any to conceal his or her presence. So, section 330 clause 1 says when a person unlawfully enters or remains in a property while deliberately taking steps to avoid being seen or caught by someone who has the right to remove them, they commit lurking house trespass, that is dealt in section 330 clause 1. In order to constitute lurking house trespass, the offender must take some effective steps to conceal his presence. What does it mean? It means the accused must have taken some active steps or every possible precaution to conceal his house trespass. His presence, or he should not be noticed by anyone. That is both his entry and criminal design to commit an offense. The accused must have taken precautions to conceal his house trespass, that is both his entry should be by secret means or should be by way of hiding, and also the criminal design. Okay. The sanctity of residential places is protected by this section. Lurking house trespass and housebreaking. The sanctity of residential places is protected by this section by meting out a severe punishment for invasion to residential places. Section 330 clause 2 deals with house breaking. A person is said to commit house breaking who commits house trespass. We will discuss both the lurking house trespass and house breaking together. A person is said to commit house breaking who commits house trespass if he effect his entrance into the house or any part of it in any of the 6 ways hereinafter described, or if being in the house or any part of it for the purpose of committing an offense, or having committed an offense therein he quits the house or any part of it in any of the following ways. First, if he enters or quits through a passage made by himself or by any abettor of the house trespass in order to the committing of the house trespass. First is if he enters or quits through a passage made by himself. That is, if this is a house, this is the boundary of the house and this is the main gate. This is locked from every side. This is the only way of entering and leaving the house, this gate. This is a field. Now A, B and C, they dig a hole through this passage directly to the bedroom where the locker is kept. So This would come under the first situation, a passage made by himself or by any abettor. B and C, they are servants in the house, and they dig a hole from here to here. They are abettor in this case. This case falls under the A. Second, if he enters, means the offender, or quits through any passage not intended by any person other than himself or an abettor of the offense for human entrance, or through any passage to which he has obtained access by scaling or climbing over any wall or building. This is a house. The ground floor, there is garage. Sorry. This is a garage. First floor, second floor. A family lives here on second floor. The offender climbs this with the use of a ladder. This case comes under this second situation. Third, if he enters or quits through any passage he or any abettor of the house trespass has opened in order to the committing of the house trespass by any means by which that passage was not intended by the occupier of the house to be opened. This case comes under entering through unintended passages. Entering through unintended passages such as windows or skylights. Fourth situation, if he enters or quits by opening any lock in order to the committing of the house trespass or in order to the quitting of the house after a house trespass. X is the owner of this house. He drops his key here. His house is locked. A founds the key and opens his house with the help of this dead key. Okay, this case would fall under D. Next, if he effects his entrance or departure by using criminal force or committing an assault or by threatening any person with assault. This is a security guard. This is a guard. Or while leaving or while entering or while leaving, he pushes him or he hurts the security guard. This case would fall under E. F. If he enters or quits by any passage which he knows to have been fastened against such entrance or departure and to have been unfastened by himself or by an abettor of the house trespass. Okay, this means such as windows, skylights. So each of this method shows a deliberate attempt to bypass normal security measure or normal way of entering or leaving the house, which makes the offense graver. Their entry is illegal, is not normal, so obviously their exit or their departure would also be illegal. By listing these, the law leaves no scope for confusion in courts when identifying such crime. Illustration, as I have told you, is given in section 330. First illustration is very clear that if A makes a hole through this wall to X house. So A commits house trespass by making a hole through the wall of X house, and if he puts his hand, this is house breaking. A commits another illustration. A commits house trespass by creeping into a ship at a porthole between decks. This is house breaking. A commits house trespass by entering Z's house through a window. This is house breaking. This is a window. Suppose this is a windows and A is not entering from here. A enters from the window. This is house breaking. A commits house trespass by entering Z's house through the door, having opened a door which was fastened. The F situation, which was fastened. So what he did, he puts a, suppose this is a room. Many of us must have seen those movies or those crime patrol serials or CID. If this is a door and it is latched and bolted from inside, so the criminal minded people, what they do, they put a wire from the inside or beneath that door and they try to open the latch or the bolt through that wire. So the F situation, if he enters or quits by any passage which he knows to have been fastened, covers under this situation. So this would also amount to house breaking. This is a door, suppose this is a door and it is closed from inside, and if there is a thief, he puts any wire or any equipment from outside and he opens the door by using that method, by the wire. So A commits house trespass by entering Z's house through the door, having opened the door which was fastened. This is house breaking. A finds the key of Z's house door which Z had lost. This is illustration given in BNS, and commits house trespass by entering Z's house, having opened the door with that key. This is house breaking. Okay. Suppose this is a house. A is the owner. A lost his key at this point. X picks up that key and he opens his house with the help of this key. This is house breaking. I have told this illustration example earlier. So what is basically lurking house trespass? It is a more serious form of trespass. It happens when a person enters or stays in a property but takes steps to conceal themselves from those who have the right to remove them. Who have the right to remove them? Obviously the owner or person who is in possession. The concealment, you are trying to conceal your entry or your departure from the owner or the person in whose possession the property is there. The concealment shows pre-planning and a more dangerous intent. If someone is digging a hole or someone is entering through window in the midnight, the festive season is going on and the family is there to attend a wedding. They have gone out of station, suppose Bareilly. They have gone to Bareilly and this is Delhi. Their house is empty. They break open the window and they are entering through it. So it shows a pre-planning and more dangerous intent. For example, hiding, this is hiding, they are entering by hiding, or hiding under a bed, in a storeroom, or sneaking in at night without being seen counts as lurking house trespass. Your entry is hidden because the offender in this case deliberately avoids detection. So obviously the law will treat it more harshly than ordinary trespass. Ordinary trespass means suppose you have simply entered any premises or building without the owner's permission. Here the criminal intent is there. It specifically shows that you are here to commit an offense, theft, extortion, or whatever is there. This is to ensure people safe in their own spaces without hidden dangers around them. So this offense is more severely punished. It is Housebreaking is also a form of house trespass where the entry or exit is made using force, deception, or unlawful methods. It is not just about stepping inside a house, but about how the entry is made. As I was telling you, suppose if a ball, people are playing cricket, and the ball goes inside this premises. So, housebreaking is a form of house trespass in which the entry or exit is made using force, deception, or unlawful methods. When I am using the pen, the screen is getting minimized, so I will not use this pen above this portion. It is not just about stepping inside a house, but about how the entry is made. For example, breaking locks, climbing the walls manually or through ladder, making holes in walls, or forcing or forcing open doors or windows qualifies as house breaking. Even if the entry is lawful, but you are leaving and exiting by any of the previous means, by breaking locks or by breaking barriers after committing a crime inside the house, this would also amount as house breaking. The law recognizes this as a graver crime than simple trespass because it involves deliberate destruction of security and a high chance of causing fear or harm to the occupants. This is obvious. If I am sleeping peacefully in my house and if I saw someone entering into my house through that window or by jumping over the wall, obviously I would get scared. The explanation: any outhouse or building occupied with a house and between which and such house there is an immediate internal communication is part of the house within the meaning of this section. It means, like we have seen in US, UK, and in metro cities, now in other cities also, there are outhouses. This is a house. When I am touching this screen with this pen, the screen is getting minimized, so I will not use this pen. So the explanation says that the law extends the meaning of house to include connected space like garages, storerooms, or kitchen if they are attached without any separation wall or barrier. For example, if someone breaks into a storeroom that is connected to the main house by a open passage, it will still be treated as house trespass or house breaking. So this basically ensures that offenders cannot exploit loopholes by targeting auxiliary or the subsidiary structures like sheds or outbuilding. The purpose is to provide full security to every part of the residence and not just the main living rooms or where the belongings or valuables are kept. The legislative intent behind Section 330. It is not just only about protecting physical property, but also about preserving privacy, dignity, and peace of mind. Suppose if this section was not there and if the trespassing or housebreaking was not punishable and anyone was free to enter or housebreak onto any property, the inmates or the owner would live under constant fear that my house might get robbed. There will be a constant fear in absence of this section. So it is also about the preserving privacy, dignity, and peace of mind. Trespassing, especially when done secretly or forcefully, can cause fear, stress, and insecurity for the occupants. It may even discourage people from feeling safe in their own homes, like I was telling you. By punishing such intrusion, the law safeguards mental well-being and societal harmony. It also reminds citizens that everyone's boundary must be respected both legally and morally. मतलब अपने काम से काम रखिए, दूसरे के काम में टांग मत अड़ाइए. बेसिकली कोई शांति से रह रहा है तो लिव एंड लेट लिव. द लीगल पनिशमेंट. हाउस ब्रेकिंग इज मोर डेंजरस एंड इन्वेजिव, so the punishment is more strict. Imprisonment is up to 1 year and fine up to 5,000 or both. The law recognizing that forcing entry into someone's property is not only a violation of privacy but also a direct threat to safety. Victims may experience trauma, fear, or loss of valuable possession. By prescribing a stronger punishment, the law aims to discourage people from using force or deception to violate security. So, the legal classification of this offense, both these offense, house lurking, house trespass, and house breaking, they are cognizable. In which cognizable, which means the arrest can be made by the police without the magistrate's permission. They are bailable and they are triable by any magistrate. So this ends our session. Thank you very much.